Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Till Time with Hope. I am the host, Hope, and I hope, as always, that everyone is doing well. I'm just going to come on here to let y'all know that I had a TEALtastic, that's right, TEALtastic time this past weekend, specifically on Saturday, because it was the annual National Ovarian Cancer Coalition 5K walk run event that I had not been a part of, like I said before, since 2019. And before that was 2014 when I was there with my mother. So it was just amazing. I don't know if there's enough adjectives to describe how wonderful of a time I had. But at any rate, yeah, I basically got there at 6:45 because yours truly didn't really read the information correctly and thought that the walk run started at 7 a.m. If my brain would go back to 2019 and remember that it didn't start that early, maybe I would have been able to sleep in a little bit. Having said that, I'm glad I actually did get there that early because the line was so long. Y'all just, I was overwhelmed to see how many people were in that line to make sure that their name was on the list and to get their t-shirts. I would have been in that line for a long time. But because I got there at 6:45, there was no line. I think there were like maybe two people in front of me. But also I want to go back to when I got there at 6:45. I was a little leery on the parking area, and I'm sure there was nobody was going to get towed for that event. But I did want to make sure that I wasn't parking somewhere that I wasn't allowed to. So as I got out of my car and locked it, I saw a young lady got out of her car and I said, "Hey, is it all right to park here?" And she goes, "Well, I actually don't know, but I saw some people get out of the car and walk towards the tents where the event is being held." So immediately I met a friend, and it was really cool to have met like that. Like, I've never really met a stranger. I think that's one of the things um, that if somebody was to say, like, what are some of your strengths? I think the fact that I'm friendly and I don't meet strangers. I'll speak to anybody. And because of that, I got to walk around with this young lady, and she was actually there to walk in memory of her grandmother who died of ovarian cancer a couple of years ago. I really cannot say enough of how amazing that event was and how the National Ovarian Cancer Coalition does such an amazing job with organizing it, getting everything together. And because it's not just a walk run, right? That's part of it, yes. But it is an event to remember those who have passed away because of ovarian cancer. And it's an event to kind of honor and celebrate the survivors. In addition to that, they had all these tents. They had like UT Southwest was there, Texas Oncology. They even had Audi there. Audi was passing out cookies that had like the Audi logo with a Teal ribbon. I made sure to get those because I love cookies. I still can't find the second one. I know I got a second cookie, but I cannot find it. It was such a good cookie too, but I digress. And Audi had a car there. It is about the closest you could get to Teal, the color Teal. It was so sweet. I was like, oh, I want that car. Really, like, I would love that car. And they're like, it's for sale. And I'm like, it's a little out of my budget, but it's a dope car. Yeah, maybe one day. But at any rate, there was a lot of other tents. Of course, there was representatives of National Ovarian Cancer Coalition, and they had like little quizzes like you could do to win a prize. Everybody wins the prize. So it's just like it was really cool to see all those tents and all those like little swag bags. There were things that I missed out on though, like a little cool sun hat and a bandana and things like that. And so if you walk to all the little kind of tents / booths, you walk away with some good information about the vendors and get some little gifts as well. And it's a really great time to do some networking, kind of getting to know other survivors, getting to meet those who have lost a loved one to the disease, and getting to meet those that are connected to ovarian cancer because they represent the hospital. I think the Audi one is just cool to have them because they have nothing to do with ovarian cancer, but obviously they feel strong about it enough to have people that work for Audi going there and participating in this event. So I thought that was That was pretty awesome, actually. It wasn't just because of the cookies, I promise. Yeah, I got to take this young lady around and kind of like let her see what they had there and introduce her to some of the people that I know, but I haven't seen in years. The one that works for NOCC, her name is Shannon. She's like in charge of all the events. So it was really cool to introduce my new friend to her. I went by myself because I didn't have anybody to go with me. But yeah, I didn't even make a plan, but like a couple of weeks ago to even participate. I didn't participate in 2020 because cancer had come back. And then in 2021, I was still dealing with recovering from cancer, after finishing chemo. And then I was still also, I don't know, still dealing with the heartbreak of my mother passing from COVID. I don't know why I didn't participate after 2021 up until now. But that's okay because I participated at this one. And again, I didn't plan for it. I did the fundraiser. Even if I only get $25 out of the $150, that's still $25 that will go to NOCC and their mission. So I think if I would have planned ahead, I could have maybe had a couple of friends join me, maybe even a couple of relatives. So, you have to coordinate, you have to plan and all of that. And then I have siblings that live outside of Houston with their families. My brother, I think works 6 days a week. So I wouldn't have expected him to go. Maybe next year, if I'm still in Texas and not in Colorado, just saying, that's my plan. But I don't know when that's going to happen. But if I'm here next year, maybe I'll get some people to go with me. But yeah, I mean, regardless if you've got people to go with you or not, it was so amazing to just experience it. And I'm a solo travel. I travel the world by myself. I do a lot of traveling and I don't have a problem going to places by myself. Sometimes you meet a lot of people that way. And I did. I definitely met some new people, talked to some Teal sisters. There's a woman named Rhonda that is so inspiring. She really is amazing. I got to talk to her in length. I felt like I was talking her ear off with sharing a little bit of my story, but I did make sure to listen to everything that she was willing to share with me about her journey. I'm just so amazed by her. She's a very wonderful, strong woman. And, she has a wonderful husband and she has her kids. One of them was there supporting her. And she's been a part of NOCC for a long time. In fact, it was so crazy because I was talking to her when we were taking a group picture because what they do is they get the survivors to go to a certain place and take a picture. They have the survivors walk into this atrium where there's these white seats that they sit on. And as you're walking to that atrium, there are people on the left and the right. And there's just, even people a little bit on that little hill that are there and they're all clapping and applauding us as survivors. And talk about, wow. Awesomeness, really. But before we started the walk, I was talking to Rhonda, and it turned out that her doctor is in Oklahoma. And I was like, because the doctor that I had back in 2011, 2012, who's my friend on Facebook, and we've stayed in each other's lives all these years, she's out in Oklahoma. So I was kind of like curious what her doctor's name was. It turns out that's her doctor is the one that was my doctor. And she ended up being at the event, and I didn't know that she was going to be there. Her and her husband were there. So I got to see her after probably a decade of not seeing her in person, and I got to meet her husband. So that was so, so cool. And on top of that, Meredith, three guests to go was Meredith, the one that's going to be going to Ireland with her husband. I'm so excited for her, really. But at any rate, she was there in person. She flew in from Arizona, and it was so good to see her. And I met some other folks that represent NOCC that actually work there. They were part of the whole event coordinating and things of that nature. So it was a really great time. Did I say great? Because it was great. No. Sorry. It was TEALtastic. It's just a TEALtastic time. Now, there were some things that could have been better, in my opinion, about Saturday. Not the event, but about Saturday. And that was the weather was atrocious. It's ridiculous, y'all, that we're in late September. It was like 91 that day. Wasn't happy about how hot it was. Number two, the competitor in me, even though I can, but I'm not supposed to run on my knees. I run on my knees, run with these knees. It'd be kind of hard to run on my knees. But yeah, because my knees are not great. And so I have to play it smart. I brought a knee brace and I should probably brought one for my right, but I had one for my left, which sometimes can be worse. So I did a little bit too much. Let's just say that. I was like huffing and puffing and like feeling so good about passing one person up, then another person, and then a group of people. And I'm just like, look at me, go, little Speedy Gonzalez. That was so cool, but my knees were not that happy about that, and I ended up getting a blister on one of my right toes towards the end, but I did it. I did a 5K walk. I think it's my first official 5K walk, which is just a little over 3 miles for those who might not know kilometers. I'm really happy about that. I did it under an hour, which that's good for me. But yeah. And on my walk, I actually, towards the end, ended up talking to a young little 15-year-old guy, and he was there walking in memory of his aunt. Yeah, his aunt had passed away from ovarian cancer, and him and his family, like many of them there, they had T-shirts with the name of who they were there walking for or running for. Seeing that was just so beautiful. Seeing how so many families were there, being a part of that in memory of those that they have lost. And I walked for myself, but I also walked, y'all, for those wonderful women that I have met through the years in this journey who are no longer here. It was really cool to see so many people there. I really feel like there were more people than there were when I was there in 2019. I can't say that definitively, but I just felt like I saw more people being there to participate. It's amazing that the National Ovarian Cancer Coalition is continuing with what they're doing. It's not just about survivors. It's about they have support groups for caregivers. There's just so much they do. I'm going to put the link to the National Ovarian Cancer Coalition again on here. And I did take pictures and mosey on over to my Facebook and take a gander at all the awesomeness that was going on that day. And maybe it'll inspire you to take part as well. For those who know me, or know somebody else that has gone through it. Maybe it'll inspire you to go to an event. I won't say it's not emotional, but you're around a bunch of people who get it. That they're in your. They know what it's about. They know what you're going through because they've gone through it. They've lost somebody or they're a survivor themselves. I will say there was probably less than 30 survivors there, and it wasn't because that's all there is. I mean, yes. Unfortunately, over 12,000 women die every year from this disease, but I think there are more survivors. They just don't know about it or they just couldn't go to the event. Oh, by the way, I did connect with somebody with the NOCC that might be able to come on to my podcast and be a guest, and maybe I'll even be a guest on their podcast, which is called Teal Talk. I'm going to leave a link to their podcast as well. Of course, it's a lot more professional. It's a pretty big organization. So that's okay, though. I'm a wee little podcaster, and I'm just doing my little part to try to make a difference. But definitely recommend going over and listening to their podcast because they interview people that are specialists in their fields. And so, yeah, please go give them a listen. I did want to say that there was one other thing that I didn't like outside of the weather and my foot not being happy in my knees, is that I had been dealing with some dull pain in my abdomen, my lower abdomen, that couldn't figure out what's going on, because it's lasted for longer than 7 days, and it's still present, but not as much as it was, which is great. And also my iron level has been lower. So at any rate, I wasn't feeling 100%. I was feeling great. Don't get me wrong. It was an amazing time, full of joy, full of love, so much love. And I was overwhelmed with that. It's like envision somebody jumping in a giant pool of love. That's kind of what it felt like. So while at the same time, I was having this lower abdomen pain, even when I was talking to people, but trying not to think about it. So yeah, that wasn't cool. I'm okay. Everything's fine. I actually went to the ER that afternoon after lunch, and I got a CT scan, and nothing's showing up on the CT scan, which is great. Praise God. But we need to figure out why my iron level has gone down and why I'm having this pain that isn't because of the scar tissue and isn't because of, gotta go and poo-poo. Just being real with y'all. That surgery that I had back in 2011 when they removed everything, it can mess with your intestines. So I got to figure that out. But ultimately, I feel good. So no worries. Please don't think anything's wrong with me. But it was bothering me that day. So outside of those three things, and those are so minor compared to the love, joy, and laughter that I experienced there. The young lady that I befriended, she said that it was very emotional for her when she was walking and remembering her grandmother. That's just proof that she loved her. I mean, it comes with the territory when you lose somebody. I'm just so proud of that young lady because she went there to remember her grandmother. I'm so touched by seeing so many people there to remember their loved ones. And hey, listen, I don't know how I'm going to leave this planet, but if I do leave because of ovarian cancer, I'm just putting it out there. My family and friends, y'all better be walking at these events, okay? I'm just saying, y'all better be out there wearing a shirt saying, hope. Hope is always with us, even when she's not here, or something like that. And I'm just saying that may never happen, and I'm hoping it'll never happen. I'm just saying, if it does, I hope I'm remembered like all of those people were remembering their loved ones. I think I will be, but and if you don't want to walk, that's fine. Just donate to the good causes, okay? Go make sure you donate, make some fundraising or stuff like that. I'll put it in my will. No, all joking aside, I hope I get to live a very long time and get to see all the amazing things that continue to go on with NOCC. I hope maybe I can be a part of that, whether here in Texas or in Colorado, whichever. I loved what I saw, and I'm thinking, that would be so cool to do more things for advocacy. It's so inspiring, y'all. It really is. I can't say it enough how inspiring it was to see everybody there and to see the just outpouring of love and appreciation for survivors. I know none of us are like, hey, look at us and appreciate us and honor us and celebrate us. None of us, I think, are like that. While at the same time, it's nice to have that. At least I felt like it was nice to receive that. I think I could see that on the faces of my fellow Teal sisters. And when I finally get to writing the sequel to Hope Through Cancer, I'm going to make sure to put that in the book because it's worth mentioning. And yeah, I guess that's all I got on this one. Thank you so much for your time and your support. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for rating me 5 stars. Thank you for hitting that little bell for notifications so you know when a new episode comes out. And I hope to have more people come on to this podcast in the future. I'm looking forward to it. I feel confident about it. If you know somebody that would want to be my guest, please let me know. You can reach out to me with an email at TEALtimewithhope@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me here through Spotify. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're in Spain or England or Iceland or wherever, the Middle East, East Asia, please reach out, because I want to share stories of women all over the world, if possible, so more people can understand what this disease is. All right. Well, hey, this has been Teal Time with Hope. I am the host, Hope. Until next time, be kind to yourself. God bless.